bin dey hala say dem want the power. Chai, dem be promise us say we go get light and power. Dem hustle sote they can't get the power. But now they no dey do anything with the power. Every day dollar just dey get the higher power over naira. Still dem talk say make we off mind, but thank God say my ego don come. So my people make you loud down, yo yo. My ego don come, oh yo yo. My people make we shout, oh yo yo. My ego don come, oh yo yo. My ego don come, man of the masses, oh yo yo. My ego don come, oh yo yo. My ego don the politico, oh yo yo. My ego don come, oh yo yo. This one not dey off in mind, oh yo yo. My ego don come, oh yo yo. Person wey dey do evil no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too dey talk. He too dey talk. Say Mayegun diary, he dey hot like pepper. But every day, then they take money in bulk. Poor man pikin, dey the street, dey hawk. Still them talk, say, make we no talk. But thank God, say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you loud, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. My people make you shout, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. Mayegun diary politico. Oh, yo, yo. Mayegun don't come, oh, yo, yo. This man not dey off in mind. Oh, yo, yo.
Hello there.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ dódódódó. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you from wherever you are watching from. This is Mayegun live.
Ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun diary, Mayegun number one.
Share this broadcast. Invite your friends. Invite your not so friendly friends and tell them that Mayegun today and it is People's Parliament tonight. I'll tell you about it.
Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun diary, Mayegun diary.
We have different segments on Mayegun's Diary Political. We have a Sunday sermon, which always happen midday on Sundays, no holds barred. We have the regular 8 p.m., which is our prime time. We have a People's Parliament. We have a segment called The Conversation, where we bring in guests to come and share their views on happenings in Nigeria. But you see, when it comes to the People's Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, it is where you can physically appear and share your view on anything and everything going on in Nigeria. Other people have their views all over the world. Your screen is going to be filled with different people from all parts of this world, Nigerians, who are also going to be expressing their own, opinions about happenings in Nigeria. But before we get to the part of having the parliamentarians coming up, we usually have the moment called the wetting the ground. That is the moment that I have to get you into the program. And I always advise, if you really want to be part of this, it is advised that you join as early as possible, because once it starts getting busy and our time is running out, you may not be able to, even if you are on the queue, to be part of this. So it is an opportunity for you to take your argument, your opinion, your fight in the comment section. Take it from there and bring it to, put a face to that your regular comment on Mayegun's Diary Political. So you are welcome. Your opinion can be very much different to others. No problem. There is one rule. When people disagree with you, they will tell you, I disagree with you. But they won't have to insult you, except if your posture is insulting to them. in which I will kind of sanction, by the way. So before we get to that part where everybody will be up, see, the parliamentarians are already appearing. The link to join this broadcast, the studio, is in the it's in the description of this broadcast. Open it up, okay? Just make sure that if you want to join us, you are not joining us from your bedroom where you are half naked. You are not joining us from a dark room where we can barely see your face. And you are not joining us when you are in a very busy place. So if you can do without all of this, right, you are welcome. So, guys, brethren, share these broadcasts.
Lórí Facebook and yes, we like lórí YouTube and yes, we like ọba bá gbé wúrẹ́ and yes, we like ijó ìgbádìyẹ and yes, we like Presido bá wí tí o and yes, we like gómìnà kówó jẹ and yes, we like.
So give me a moment. I'm putting on the link on Facebook and YouTube. So if you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, the link is currently in the comment section.
And yes, we like. And yes, we like. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnragì. And yes, we like.
Thank you very much for joining me. If you don't want to be part of the parliamentarians or maybe not motivated in becoming one, there is no problem, okay? You can take your time to read the caption of the broadcast, read the description as well, right? And yeah, of course, you can make your own contribution known in the comment section. There will not be any phone call tonight. So if those of you who have been following events in Nigeria in the past 1 week, today marks the 7th day that Kalu has been sworn in as the president of Nigeria. There are many things that have happened. None of them is in any way positive. None yet. However, some will say the hope stashed, or sorry, the hope dashed rather by Buhari, the same APC, Egbekegbe, has made hope a kind of an illusion today in Nigeria. And what does that mean? What that means is that people have seen the worst that could happen, and most of them right now, right, they are completely hopeless. But guess what? In the midst of that hopelessness, including rigged election, divided country, religious, and all of that stuff going on, yeah, some people are creating or manufacturing hope. Like, well, it's bad. Yes, we know it's bad. But at least let us just be hopeful. Let's be positive. You get what I mean? Like the illusion of, as long as I feel hopeful, as long as I feel positive, even though the situation is hopeless, just maybe it will turn it around. So that is what you call the illusion of hope. And if you have been one of those, or like expectedly, if you have been one of those who have been very much active politically about Nigeria in the last 8 years, especially year before that, the last 9 years, 2014, 2015. I mean, if you are the type who are like pessimist, like somebody who is always like pessimistic, somebody who just don't like believing something until they see it. Yeah. You see, those who were so optimistic then, so hopeful with the message of change, 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 a lot of people built so much castle in the air, especially when when Buhari became the president. Nigeria will change. Just give it 6 months. Give Nigeria 6 months. Give Nigeria 1 year. Okay. Give Nigeria 2 years. Then they started changing it. It will take a long time to fix Nigeria. So Buhari is fixing it. Today, Nigeria is worse off. But do you know something? The category of bro-beaten, bullied, brutalized Nigerians, after witnessing the murderous campaign of APC, that saw people, Nigerians, who killed because they wanted to participate in an election, and then brought in an illegitimate, kleptomaniac, Tinubu. So the same characters are now already building another hope. Let us just be hopeful. Why are you being negative, Baba? 8 years of Buhari, some people saw that 8 minutes into Buhari's government. 8 minutes after Buhari got sworn in, a lot of people saw what a lot of you, finally experienced in 8 years of Buhari. So the bottom line is this. Some will say it might be too early, but the fact that you once, with this same all-past criminals, Al-Qaeda People's Congress, some of you watching me right now, you once built hope. You had this massive hope in APC, especially the surprise winning when the sitting president of Nigeria at the time conceded. Now, having conceded, it was like, oh, this will be the beginning of a new thing. 8 years down the line, you know the story. Now, 7 days into Tinubu's presidency, we are already witnessing drama. Just like I said, illusion of hope that others are now building, just like that of Buhari. But in the last 7 days, if Nigeria was a real country, trust me, statisticians, people who play with numbers, they would have given the credit reports of the last 7 days on all of you, including your economy. People are still being killed. They are still settling down. Your economy is taking a further nosedive, and there is no clear-cut way out, at least not now, except when they are like proposing, maybe they will increase your salary or they will print more money and whatever other ideas they are bringing. But the bottom line is this: you have your chance this evening to probably drop by and tell us what we don't know, possibly. The hope that they are telling you to have, the ones that you are having or building yourself. Like, for example, in 2014, a lot of us were able to sort of, x-ray the characters within the APC, Egbekegbe at the time. Indeed, Nigeria was already done for as far back as 2014. Yes, it was like a slippery slope that it was inevitable anyway. And I'll tell you, and I'll explain that to you. You see, this APC, Egbekegbe, in 2012, they started the mobilization of all the terrorists you are witnessing in Nigeria today, all geared towards takeover of power. Now, fast forward to 2014, they decided to come together, strange bedfellows, to save Nigeria, that they've already kept terrorists at the borders. And it's two-way thing. One, after the election, if Jonathan should declare himself winner a second term, the terrorists will take over Nigeria. If Jonathan love himself, he will concede and the destruction of Nigeria will be limited. because all that matter was power. Don't forget that too. The sponsor of Boko Haram are members of APC, Egbekegbe. They have been exposed many times, of course. But Nigeria is a crime scene. When those who are supposed to be in jail are now the ones who are holding the reins, or the, what do you call it? They are holding the cuffs, going after the rest of us. The Kaduna Littlefinger, El Rufaya, publicly confessed that he went all over Africa, calling on the Fulani terrorists that have now wreaked havoc in Nigeria to come back to Nigeria. Their brother is now in power. He was challenged. Since you brought them back, Southern Kaduna has not known any peace. He deviated, and he was like, yeah, we told them that if they lost car, we'll pay them. If they lost any lives, we'll compensate them, even though money can't pay for that. These were criminals that people fought and then they chased away from their lands until APC, Egbekegbe, came. So what did they do? They decided to give amnesty to the terrorists they brought to the border, even though they didn't believe that they could actually take over power. Now they were in power. That is Buhari. What would they do with the terrorists they harmed and they prepared to actually take over Nigeria? They decided to offer them amnesty. Don't pretend that you didn't know that. That's not a make-up story. These are all public information. That's why I said, if you now have criminals like this, strange bedfellows, looters, treasury looters, manipulators, certificate forgers, money launderers, corrupt criminals coming together, terrorist sympathizers coming together to say, we want to come and save you. It is like the devil offering you something. Do you actually know what he's going to take back from you? So they offered you that momentary feel good, that if you could chase away the ruling party, that means you have control back in your hands. So what happened after that? They started threatening you. They started threatening everybody. If you say something about the atrocities, you are considered an inciter. You are inciting people to demand responsibility from the government. And that is treasonable. Do you believe that? Because it happened in Nigeria. Yeah, the terrorists suddenly became more powerful than the Nigeria military. They hired mercenaries that Goodluck Jonathan at the time was using in pummeling them and destroying them in northern Nigeria. I'm talking about the Boko Haram terrorists. Immediately, Boko Haram APC, Egbekegbe came in. They disbanded them. And they opened the border. Today, you know the rest of the story, Abi. More northerners have now become victims of the same terrorism. They have either been kidnapped, sold off as slaves. They've either been killed by these same terrorists, and under the man that once gave them hope that all they needed was a lovely, fatherly figure, northerner. A northerner will not look away for terrorists to be killing northerners. Was that not the campaign? Today, under Boko Haram alone, 63,111 Nigerians were slaughtered by these terrorists. And in that 8 years, no single one of them is on trial for any of this. But guess what? They have already freed 178,000 repentant terrorists through a program called Operation Safe Corridor. They gave you hope. Once they come in, terrorism will become a thing of the past. Is not so? Once we come in, corruption is going to be a thing of the past. They can now use the money from corruption. They can use them to build education. They can use them to build roads. They can do blah, 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 blah. 8 years, like I said, 8 minutes into their charade, a lot of us that they once called wailing wailers, enemies of progress, enemies of Nigeria, enemies of this and that. 8 minutes into Boko Haram's murderous campaign or government at the time, we could tell, look at those around him. How do you fight corruption with corruption? How do you do that? You fake or forged your educational qualification. NEPA bill certificates. You presented that, you forged that. Under what morality? Under what moral authority do you think you are going to be in any way not corrupt in your dealings when your first thing about you is actually corruption? Lies. So we weren't willing willers. We were more or less like the conscious that will later become an open wound to so many of you. And indeed, it did change a lot, but not many. So what happened? The most corrupt government ever in the history of Nigeria happened to be the man that told them he was coming to end corruption. Can you even believe that? Can you? These are things, these are, facts. They are not fictions. They are not made up. Nigeria became one of the most corrupt countries on earth under these criminals. And there are examples. For the first time, returned loot became relooted. Let me give you one example. They were working on returning Abacha loot. Okay? And this Abacha loot was about $1 billion. Now, just before APC, Egbekegbe came in, the then government of Jonathan, they've done all the negotiation. Okay? So what was needed at the time was just transfer the money to the central bank. All the details have been provided, though. Then he lost election. So Buhari came in. Once they came in, Malamu took over that investigation or that transfer or deal. When he took it over, Office of the Attorney General, the Minister of Justice of Nigeria, where you have lawyers that are being paid from that office by Nigeria. Malamu now put together another team, okay? And he called them negotiation team. So this negotiation team then have to go back and negotiate with the country that wanted to return the $1 billion. Now, for being part of that negotiation team, Malamu signed off that they could take 18% of that money as their own charges, commission for bringing that $1 billion looted Abacha money. So in the process, this guy cut out for themselves over 180 million US dollars for doing nothing. So when the money came in, story entered the rest of the money. Nobody can say, what did they do with Abacha's loot that they were returned? They were returned. They were relooted. What about all the properties of those that EFCC were chasing at the time? What happened to their properties? Sold. How much is the total money? Where is the money? Gone. Then what happened to the treasury of Nigeria? They opened up Nigeria for more never seen before pillaging. They started with the Central Bank of Nigeria. Okay? They told you they will make $1 equal to a naira. But guess what they did? They brought in what is called round tripping. Round tripping is when some people they will become middlemen. Instead of Central Bank of Nigeria to give dollars and forex allocation to banks officially, and there will be documentation of all those transfers and all that, Abi. Then suddenly there will be middlemen. Middlemen that now act between Central Bank and the banks in Nigeria. So Central Bank will give the middlemen the dollars at the rate of 20 naira to $1, 40 naira to $1. They were using the rate of, you won't believe this, so they were using the rate of 1984, 1985 to give this money to these selected northerners who became middlemen, right? And the banks in Nigeria would have to buy from them. If they can't buy from them, then they sell to other people who then will have to sell to the bank. Before you know it, from 140 naira to $1 official, 199 naira to $1 black market is skyrocketed straight up to over 700 naira to $1 today, unofficial, which is black market. The official rate is now over 600 naira to $1. Remember that. They did that. It's not because people are looting or what have you, okay? It's because they have been looting. Another thing they did, majority of you may not know, talking about subsidy on petroleum, subsidy on kerosene, subsidy on what else? Diesel, subsidy on luxury goods, and subsidy on dollars. Do you know there is something called subsidy on dollars in Nigeria? It's not meant for everybody. It's meant for selected people, okay? And this is how it works, I'll tell you. Subsidy on dollar. When Buhari came in, he shut the borders of the southern Nigeria because they wanted to stop importation of food. All food, everything food. Okay, so they shut everywhere. Now, they now told Nigerians that they wanted to encourage Nigerians to grow their own food, to stop importation. And when you grow your food, okay, you can battle food inflation. You can create jobs. You know, it makes sense, Abi. But that was the lie they told you. On the other hand, that means they took the right for you to actually do your business locally, internationally, and the rest of that as a Nigerian, Abi. They took all of that away from you. They gave it to two people who have the right to bring whatever they like into Nigeria, food. And guess who were the two people from northern Nigeria? One is called Buhari, the other one is called Dangote. Now, here is where the dollar subsidy comes in, okay? See, as businesses, a lot of you, millions of you are running different businesses, locally and internationally. As you were struggling, suffering, and your businesses were folding up because of the exorbitant kill them exchange rate, Abi, Dangote was given the chance. And even some of you, if you now bring all those things in, they'll become contraband. And when they become contraband, then you what? You run at complete loss. A lot of businesses died because of this. Targeted though. But you know something? Dangote was given unlimited access to bring in grains, bring in this, whatever he wanted for the past 8 years, in case if you don't know. As they come to your shops to pack all the stuffs you imported and brought in, Dangote has the key to the center. And not just that, whenever Dangote have to go and bring anything in, you know, it will need Forex. It's not going to spend Naira. So that is where the dollar subsidy comes in. So, for example, let's say Dangote want to bring the product of $1 billion. He doesn't have $1 billion. So central bank will have to provide that money for him. Now, at what rate? So they will say, Dangote, dollar is now 700 Naira. But because it's you, we'll give it to you for 150 Naira. Do you see that difference? Do you see that advantage over all the millions of you who are like doing legitimate businesses, Abi, in that same country? That's exactly what Buhari did, okay, to destroy Nigeria economy. Now, Dangote, you know, for that $1 billion that he needed, is already received over 600% slash discount. So tell me why he won't be the billionaire, the richest billionaire in Africa. We call him quota system billionaire, by the way, but you know, that's exactly how they killed it. The corruption of using the instrument of government to destroy some people in order to benefit some people, and before you know it, poverty skyrocketed, businesses died. So the subsidy here now is that he will get subsidy, any amount of dollars he wants. So every time they tell you that central bank has no dollars, central bank has no this and that, is because they have to give it to somebody at ridiculous exchange rates just because they want to keep him floating. Why the rest of you continue to sink? When they ran out fully in 2021, Emefiole started something called E-Naira. I remember coming out to say, there is nothing called E-Naira. It is E-Naira. You go feel am. When the time comes, you will realize that it wasn't set up for you or to help Nigeria. It was set up to gather enough Forex from all of us living abroad. From me, from you, from every one of us. Remitting money back into that Nigeria. Emefiole targeted us. He built an app. He called it E-Naira. So if you want to send money to anybody in your family, all you have to do is go onto the app. You will give Emefiole your dollar or your pound sterling, okay? And then he will give your family members the Naira equivalent in Nigeria. They started bribing us. They said they will give us £5. You will get £5 if you send £100. You will get £10 if you send £200. They are trying to lure us so that they can gather our Forex and give it to their own. The rest of those who took, who could actually take your Forex, dollars, pounds, and everything in Nigeria banks, they are not businessmen, no. They are your politicians. They collect that as ESTA codes and they collect this in millions of dollars every month. Think about that. So that is where the dollar subsidy be that. Oh, you now come to the petrol subsidy, the one that is about to cause or may not cause any wahala. Are you with me? So petrol subsidy is a scam. I have repeatedly said that many times. There is actually no subsidy anywhere. It is a plot, because you know one thing is this. When they tell you that because Nigeria removed subsidy, Ghana is in problem, economy of Cameroon is in problem, petrol in this and that, that is one of those hopeless situations that they can create a fantasy for you and make you feel good and say, remove subsidy, Jare, make all of us the suffer and Ghana and everybody. But let me tell you the story behind that, all right? Corruption. Never seen before corruption, okay? Before APC, Egbeke came in, subsidy payment by Goodluck Egbere Jolanton at the time was kind of a cap at somewhere around 700 billion naira. That's so much, very much. But that was the highest he paid. At the time, before he got to that, Jonathan was paying about 250, 270, 300 billion. Yeah? And they were using this number, these statistics, that at the time is kind of made sense, okay? They were like, okay, this is the amount of petroleum products Nigerians are consuming. This is the amount of diesel Nigerians are consuming. This is the millions of liters of, kerosene Nigerians are consuming every month. Now, averagely by so doing, Nigeria is not producing or refining enough of any of these products. So they import them to supplement what they were producing locally. So, which means they are not spending 100% money on subsidy. They were still producing kerosene in Nigeria. They were refining petrol and diesel. But to balance the need of the people, they have to bring some. Okay? Now, bringing this sum, at a point, they removed the subsidy on diesel. They felt like, not many people use this diesel. Using the numbers, anybody who won't use diesel, maybe they know so they will pay for it. No, what about kerosene? Boy, a lot of people use this kerosene, but we can no longer, blah, blah, blah. People should go and check and start using gas. Something like that, Sha. They remove subsidy on gas, on kerosene. Now, petrol. As they remove subsidy on these two other products, maybe the money you are paying for subsidy should drastically reduce, cut down, because it's now petrol, not on the three of them anymore. Surprisingly, it didn't go down. So you get the corruption that was taking money from this kerosene and diesel just shifted the whole thing onto petrol. Okay? So Jonathan screamed when he got elected in 2011. He said, we need to remove it. We need to remove this or else. Because the truth of the matter is, the scam behind subsidy is like job for the boys. It's like a cabal. That if they know that government is not paying them anything, they will figure it out themselves. Jonathan said, what he discovered was that the moment they remove subsidy on kerosene and diesel, and the subsidy on petrol started growing, what they now did was that they realized that when these marketers, when they bring the petrol to Nigeria, the ones that they bring it, once they bring it to Nigeria, in collaboration with corrupt NNPC officials, that will go and inspect the cargo to ascertain the amount, the quantity of petrol your own company just brought to Nigeria. How many liters? How many millions? How many thousands? Sure you get. Now, it is based on these thousands or what you brought in that they will now pay you the difference, subsidy on each liter. Sure you get. This is where the corruption came in. So the corrupt NNPC officials, they will now inflate figures of how much, for example, let's say this vessel brought in 1 million liters of petrol at the rate of 500 naira per liter. Sure, you know that is 500 million naira, that 1 million liter. That's 500 million naira. So government will now say, we'll pay you 400, which means we'll pay you 400 million naira. When the people go to the filling station to buy petrol, they will be buying it at 100 naira. because government has paid 400 naira difference to that marketer. But here is where the corruption comes in. So instead of saying 1 million liter, the corrupt NNPC people, they can put 100 million liters or 10 million liters. So instead of collecting 500 million naira for 1 million liter, they will collect 5 billion naira for 10 million liters. So because the marketers and the NNPC, who are supposed to keep eye on them and account and keep you or be on your side, once those marketers saw that corruption just the big corruption me, you don't know what that means? Corruption swallowing corruption. So the moment they get paid and the government officials take their own share and they pay the oil marketers, some of the oil marketers will just be like, you know what? Instead of me selling my petrol at 100 naira in Nigeria, I'll just go to Ghana, Joe. I'll go and sell it for 200 naira in Ghana. Because Ghana doesn't pay marketer money. Ghana doesn't pay any. If you bring petrol to Ghana, whatever amount you want to sell it, you must look at Ghana market before you go abroad to refine product and come and sell to them. Sure you get. Remember that the landing cost of that liter of petrol brought to Nigeria is 500 naira. Government of Nigeria already pay 400 naira on it. The marketers will now take the oil to Ghana to go and sell it cheap, 200 naira. You know, they are not losing anything. Sure you get. Rather, they are gaining extra 100 naira from the corrupt government officials in Nigeria. Who kept that? Because if you decide to go and bring a market and say, where is the oil that we paid you to bring to Nigeria? And you brought to Nigeria, where is the oil? And then they'll say, okay, we are going to do investigation. They will say, how much did you pay him? We paid him 5 billion. And the marketer will say, no, they didn't pay me 5 billion. No. They only pay me 5 million or 500 million. No. And the 500 million, I am ready to pay it back, Gonself. So the corrupt government officials, in order for that not to happen, they just turned it into business to keep it a secret. And Jonathan saw that. Jonathan said, these guys are crooks, and majority of them, you won't believe it, or probably you should remember, some of them were actually arrested for the first time. Nigerians knew those who were being paid the subsidy money. Do you want me to remind you one of them? The current governor of Ogun State, Aiding Oil, owned by the current governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, Dubious Dapo, was one of those beneficiaries of those multi-billion dollars fraud of oil subsidy that ran years. He's a governor in Ogun State right now. So when they start telling you that they take the oil to Ghana, and that is why Ghana is enjoying cheap oil. No. Your marketers that are taking they are taking the corrupt fuel to Ghana. They actually don't run Ghana economy. They don't run Cameroonian economy. Cameroon as government, as a country, they have those who bring in their own crude oil there for them. The refined crude. Same with other African countries. But in Nigeria, your criminal politicians who stood against the removal of that subsidy 11 years ago. Remember, today, they are telling you, because the subsidy they are paying in Nigeria is what is running Ghana economy, is what is running Cameroon economy. So Cameroonians are suffering now because Nigeria removed subsidy. And you are telling yourselves that, yeah, I love it. That's why they remove it. See? So I will let you speak when it is time for you to come in. Did they call them DPR or DP, whatever? Department of Petroleum, something. A lot of you know about these things more than me. You know the terminologies and all of that. I'll let you speak when it is your shot. Now, this is when we are going to go into the parliament. I'll leave the rest. So this is me now getting you into it. I believe a lot of you are already kind of, I want to say something. Yeah? Of course. 7 days of Tinubu as your president. Here you are. You can tell me where they said that renewed scam or hope is, and not the illusion of hope. Criminals are still being rewarded. They will continue to be rewarded, of course. Yeah. And then you will continue to find your space in the basket of the victims of their policies. So NNPC says they are, I mean, so not NNPC, NNPLC, they call them now anyway. So NLC, they are saying they are going on strike on Wednesday, from Wednesday, because of subsidy removal. Others are saying, no, it's a new government. They're supposed to give them time. We have hope that it's going to do something. I am yet to see where they are going to. I mean, they are already sharing 7 days in office of Tinubu. But I will leave all of that for you. Now, you can join this conversation, okay? You can join. There is a link in the comments if you are watching on YouTube or on Facebook, okay? There is a pinned link. Remember the rules, okay? The rules are, if you want to join us, the device you are going to use, if it's going to be your laptop, if it's going to be your iPad, if it is your phone, remember, you need to go to a quiet room where there will be no noise distraction. Also, you must make sure that the device you are going to use in joining us in this parliament tonight is not the same device that you are watching this broadcast on. I mean, if you are using your phone to watch this broadcast, you will need to leave this broadcast for you to be able to join us, or else it will be echoing and you will not be able to speak. And also, you would have about 5 minutes. It's not a phone call. Don't call me. Some people are already calling. You don't call me. That we are not taking calls, okay? We are going to do face-to-face conversation. And that's what we call the People's Parliament, all right? If you have been on this platform and somehow you believe that we are doing it wrong, like some have been kind of trying to look for how to pass the blame. Oh, do you every day you talk about these people? Every day, why don't you talk about what you want to do for people? Listen to me. This is your moment. Join the parliament. The link is in the comments. Open it up, all right? Go to a place that is well lit, not in a dark room. Please, don't join this broadcast when you are shirtless, when you are lying on your bed, all right? I won't let you be able to join. And if I see you behind the scene that you still kind of don't want to do that, yeah, I will block you from joining at all. So these are very simple rules, all right? We always share the tallies. So what we will have next will be the parliamentarians coming on. And remember as well, we are all free to express ourselves. We are all free to disagree with ourselves, respect other people's opinion, and then don't go ballistic on anybody, except you feel like their opinion is kind of condescending. I will come in and take care of it, but I would love that, that kind of, self-control. So I am bringing those who have put on their cameras. I have others who haven't put on their camera, and they are there with us. Give me a moment. So if you are still there as a parliamentarian, the reason why I haven't put you on is because you need to put on your camera, mute your microphone. And once it is your shot, you would have your own say. And it's always 5 minutes, okay? Sometimes the connections can be very, very dodgy, which means sometimes it might sound like we are talking over one another. I've learned how to kind of control that, or just in case if that happens, okay? Don't see it as if, they're just talking over you, So I have 3 people. Prince Jojo his camera is not on. I have about 3 other people. They are listening to me, and if they can put their cameras on, it will be great, okay? So if your cameras are not on, that means you are not ready. It's all right. That means you are probably getting yourself set. But if I see you behind the scene, and your camera is on, that shows you are ready. And then we can share our tally after that, where everybody will speak. Good evening and good morning and good afternoon to all of you, the parliamentarians from all over the world. The way we run it here is we share numbers. Sometimes I do forget who is next, and you can help me. Now, if you, by any means, right, talking and your network suddenly drops off, okay, or drops, I can always bring you back on if you attempted to rejoin us, okay? Apart from that, yeah, everybody can speak their mind how you feel or deem fit, okay? If yours is to go, pigeon, like they will say, go for it. Just communicate. That's the point of this chat tonight. So, like I said, somebody who is in the dark won't be able to join. Prince Jejeman, you keep coming off and on. You need to stay on in order for me to be sure that you are here. You need to put your camera on, and you need to stay in a place that is lit, not in the dark. Don't be shirtless as well. Now, Oluwatokisa, how are you? Sorry, Baba, you need to unmute. Okay, hang on. Let's work on this. I can't hear you somehow. Well, you can hear me, sir. Okay. You deal with that. You deal with that. Let me try somebody else so that I'm sure that it's not from my side, okay? Let me go to Jude. Do you mind unmuting? Let me see if yours works well.
Good evening, Gio. Daddy Gio, good evening. Happy Sunday to you.
Thank you very much. Happy Sunday to you, bro. All right. Hang on there for me for a second, okay? So, Oluwatokisa, I believe it is actually your from your end. Do you mind saying something again? Let's see. No. Okay.
I think you need to unmute.
Yeah, he's already unmuted. You already. Do you know something? I want you to leave and come back in. I will let Jude start so that we won't kind of waste much of our time. It's so limited. We'll say. So I'm bringing everybody on that is here, and we are going to share the numbers soon. Okay. Let me see. Mr. Sabelo Abayomi, are you still interested in joining us? Because you've never put on your camera. So I'm going to kick you out here and wait for when you are ready. He's one of those who first joined, but they just never put on their cameras. Prince, are you ready? Because you keep going back and forth. Prince Jejeman, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So stay on there, okay, Prince? Don't go anywhere. Now, let's share the numbers, okay? So I'm going to start with Jude. Then I'm going to go to Sadari. It's going to be you. It's good to see you again anyway. Then I am going to go to Charity, just as we appear on the screen, okay? Charity, you go after Sadari. Prince Jejema will go after yourself. And then, Mr. Babati, sir, it's good to see you again. Oh. So, yeah, you are going to go after Prince Jejeman. Then, Sir Kayode Kalejaye, you will be the one going after Babati. And Sataiwo, Ugboma, or Ugboma, you are going to, you're going to go after Sir Kalejaye. Remember all these numbers, I may kind of mix them up again, okay? Something is not right with Prince Jejeman's connection. So I hope it's sorted before we get to him. Now, Jude, it's good to have you here again. You are going to be the person that's going to open the parliament tonight. Remember, you can speak your own point and truth. It doesn't really have to do with what we have already said here, all right? Whatever you feel like, okay? 5 minutes, and we are kicking off now. Jude. Oh, what happened to Jude? Okay. Now, here is a problem about some of these connections, okay? Sometimes they'll keep fluctuating like back and forth. So we'll keep bringing everybody back once they get on. So, Sir Dari, 2 people that were supposed to speak before you have been, they have been technologically.
I don't get kicked out.
So it will be your shot now until they come back. Please, sir.
Okay. My good general, thank you very much. Nice to be here again. And thank you for the good work. I hope I don't get kicked out. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, loud and clear. All of us can hear you, sir.
Okay. Maego, I've been thinking of this whole issue in Nigeria and this fuel subsidy. I think I need to have a new orientation concerning my idea about all this. When you press somebody's neck, when you continue to press the neck and the person is still breathing, and you say, okay, I think I can survive. Maybe he's waiting for you that is pressing the neck to get tired so that you can leave him. And if you don't get tired, you still continue to press the neck. And the person is dying. And the person is still doing like, say, continue to depress, no problem, I'm still surviving. I think it is high time we now put pressure to press that neck. So that if that person wants to die, let him die, or he will not shout and react. I can never I don't know how to factor this matter that people who stood 12, 11 years ago, 10 years ago, and said, don't remove subsidy. They gave all flimsy kind of excuse. As far as I'm concerned, if this subsidy had been removed 10 years ago, we would have been talking about a new situation by now. But because those same criminals who were benefiting from this subsidy 10 years ago, who refused to remove those subsidies today, are now finding flimsy excuse why this subsidy should be removed, because now they are not the one that wants to share the money, because they're the one that will not share. That time, they were not the one that wants to share. They gave flimsy excuse. It's so ironical. There's one thing you normally saw the time. You said Nigerians don't hate corruption. We don't hate corruption. No. We only hate corruption when we are not the one perpetuating those corruption
or benefiting.
When we're not the one benefiting from those corruption or being the one perpetuating those corruption. This is the same set of people that in the parliament, it was Otedola now, that set up Farouk, that gave some amount of money to Farouk concerning the same oil subsidy. Every one of them today that wanted to remove this oil subsidy they have all benefited from this subsidy one time or the other. Otedola, Farouk today collected so humongous amount of money from Otedola just to remove his name, remove that company name also from those that benefited from the oil subsidy, who were not importing nothing into the economy, and they were collecting money. I can tell you today that if, for instance, the way Obi normally says something all the time. He said, when you do an analysis of what really Nigerians are consuming as fuel in that country, it is not what they are giving us, they are telling us that they are consuming. A lot of things are going under the ground. What does it take to put a fuel in a tank and bring to Nigeria and say you want to sell? It has become as if it's a rocket science. Who is taking this subsidy? As far as I'm concerned, there have never been anything like subsidy. People were only just scamming, taking money, and now some people, and I'm so excited, let this subsidy go away and let Nigerians start feeling the pain so that they will come out and shout. So they will come outside and shout. Because as far as I'm concerned now, in short, it's just as if let the obedience just be one side and watch. I believe that everything is going to, when people come out and start shouting, can you imagine today? I was doing an analysis. If you're in Nigeria, if in the month you get up to 300,000 in a month, if I thought you are being paid or you are working and you are receiving 300,000, just imagine yourself, you buy fuel in your house, there's no electricity, you need to run your gen, you need to pump water, you need to fuel your car, you need to pay children's school fees, you need to buy food stuff, you need to pay house rent. And again, how many people are receiving up to 300,000 in Nigeria?
That's a big question.
How many people? Then now, with this fuel, food stuff is going to go. In short, the phone calls I've gotten for the past 1 week with people I was thinking that is well with them. Everybody now is like, I said, oh, okay, you're all waking up. And I'm so excited because we need something that will arise the consciousness of most Nigerians who have become spectators concerning this situation that is affecting Nigeria. A lot of people have become spectators, and now they will now become victims of this policy we're always crying about. When you don't put the right people there, you put the wrong. Well, leave them now. Let's say we just do it 4 years. I just pray that they will succeed. They will be alive to see the end of this tenure for these 4 years.
So much.
Thank you very much.
God bless you, and thanks so much for stopping by as usual. you've opened the floor. We're going to go to Jude, who is now back. Jude, I don't want to ask what happened, but it's good to have you back.
Yeah, I just choose to change my device so it will be more
I see.
convenient for me.
We can hear you, and all of us can see you too.
Okay. Good evening, fellow parliamentarian. Good evening, Mr. Mayegu. It's actually 5 years. Yeah, it has actually been 5 years in this diary because I actually started following the diary since 2019. And 2019, I could record then, I was still learning how to manage my emotions. And we all thought that the Atiku government to upset the Buhari government then will be a game changer for us. But to our greatest surprise, Nigeria always has its special way of serving everyone breakfast, both home and away. Irrespective of anywhere you are, they know how to serve your breakfast very hot. It was actually after the 2019 election, I started digging into the corrupt system, and I discovered a lot of things that really blew my mind, that made me make up my mind that anything that has to do with this country called Nigeria, I think I am done. Talking about the petroleum subsidy, I think the biggest fraud to mankind, the biggest fraud to any Nigerian, the biggest fraud is just this so-called subsidy. You can tell me a country that has 4 refineries, that every year we budget billions of dollars to this refinery, cannot refine its own products. You can't tell me a country that has professors that studied petroleum engineering, chemical engineering, and lecture students, yet they can't produce their own petroleum product that they are consuming. The annoying part of this shenanigans and these charades is that they are making we Nigerians in diasporas look less like a human. Because when you tell someone I'm a Nigerian and they run into the country's history and how corrupt the system is, you become an automatic blacklister. All eyes will be on you because of the corrupt system that the government are practicing. And it breaks my heart so much to see a lot of Nigerians telling their compensating their emotions instead of managing their emotions, that yes, Tinubu government is going to be better. A pastor prophesied this man said this. I was like, the same pastor that prophesied that Tinubu would be arrested, why was he not arrested? When will you guys wake up? And the painful thing is that once you leave Nigeria, the less religion you become, the less religious you become, and the less religious you become, the more successful you become. Because Nigerians, I don't know, they somehow use the religion to enslave our mind. And enslaving the mind blocks a lot of opportunities for we Nigerians. And even the way you are being treated irrespective of where you are, once you tell them you're a Nigerian, it doesn't go well at all. Okay, I think it was a few months ago, something happened. I went to the mall to get some stuffs. After picking my items, I want to make my payments. I brought out my BOG card to make the payments. The card was constantly being declined. I was like, what is going on? I have a lot of money in this card. Why is the card being declined? Okay, let me just pay by cash. I paid by cash, and immediately I left the mall. I went straight to the bank because the bank is just too bidding away. And I complained. What happened? I was embarrassed in the bank. My card was constantly being declined. And the first question the lady asked me, what is your nationality? And I showed her my ID. And she was like, no, I'm not talking about your ID, your passport. Which country are you from? And I was like, Nigeria. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. Nigerians are not permitted to use the BOG cards to make payments.
Really?
I was like, why creating an account for me when I can't use the BOG cards to make payments or make transfer out of the country. They were like, Nigerians are only restricted to use their card for transport, for public transport only. I was like, what's the essence of using this card?
You don't mind me. Which country is this?
Georgia. I was like, how embarrassing is this? And this is the same country that Lagos as a state, I stand to be correct. Lagos economy is bigger than the country economy.
The entire country.
Lagos as a state, its economy is bigger than the whole country economy. But the way we are being treated here, you see students pay thousands of dollars to get the admission here, coming down here. They'll be denying residents. For what reason? You are a threat to our national security. But you collect the money. You collect the money, you allow them come in, but you won't give them. A lot of Nigerians here are frustrated that after spending close to $10,000 to $15,000 coming down to the country, you tell them that they can't give them residents to stay, that they are threat to national security. It doesn't make sense. And the funny part is that the Nigerian government doesn't give a fuck about us. It's so heartbreaking. The worst thing that can happen to you here is as a Nigerian, you are being caught in any shit. They don't give a fuck about you. It's so painful. It's so heartbreaking.
It's even so sad, yeah, that those who are even back in Nigeria, who have no sympathy or any empathy, the same way they have been treated, they will ask you, who sent you there?
Thank you. Come back house now.
Yeah, come back.
You did there?
Yeah.
Come back house. I was like, and sometimes I'll be like, what's your problem?
Come back to
Is
what?
it that Nigeria has actually damaged your empathy and human sympathy and thinking faculty that you can't even reason well?
Of course you'll be
and
right.
every little thing they'll be like, God day. Wait, what? Stop using God day. See, the people that are being blessed, none of them are even Christians. The world billionaires, none of them are Christians. None of them pray. Nigerians spend hours in the church. During the campaign, I saw the way our politicians were flooding the church, the mosques. I'll be like, they've come again to use this same religion to enslave your mind. And when one pastor said this, all of them will be, yes, my pastor said this. It doesn't work that way in the real world. The earlier Nigeria wakes up from their imaginary world that, yes, God will come save us. The better for us. You're calling on the God of Israel to come save you. Why the Israelis are manufacturing technological weapons to defend themselves? Why are the Israelis not calling on their God to come defend them? Why are you calling on the God of Israel to come defend you? Why not do these things yourself when you have the resources? It's so heartbreaking.
Anyway.
It's so heartbreaking. I normally find it difficult to introduce myself as a Nigerian. Where are you from? I am an Igbo boy from the eastern part from West Africa. It's when you persist. Because my ancestors were actually Igbo before a slot named us Nigeria after drinking Scottish whiskey. Okay, let's just call them like a nigger area.
I know. Anyway, Jude, let's yield the mic to the next speaker because of our time.
Okay, thank you. It's really nice, and I must commend your hard work, because if most of the should I say most of the expositions and enlightenment I've actually gotten over the couple of years was actually from you. And I pray that within the next couple of months, our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, will be freed, because he always make references. Go and listen to Mayegu. Go and listen to him. He's always speaking the truth. So I pray that God helps us and he gain his freedom. And someday, we the Oduduwa and Biafrans are going to march home and have a working nation.
Bless you, Jude. Thank you so much.
Right.
You stay safe over there, all right? Let's go to the next person, which is Charity, I believe. Is that you? So, Sir Charity Alehoha is going to be your choice. Please, you can unmute. The next person, which is Charity. Do I help you do that? That's it.
Yeah, I think, okay.
That's you.
Good evening, Mayego, and good evening, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me, right?
Loud and clear. Can you hear me too?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you as well. So it's nice to be in your platform tonight. since 2018 we have been following you, and it's very hard to get you online. We try as much, but the line always busy. Sometimes I do send you some chat, like some photos and some programs that I got, some messages that is interesting, but I know you are always have a lot. So
Yeah,
yeah,
probably
boss.
see it, but I'm sorry that
So
yeah. Go
yeah.
on, Sha. Anyway.
So yeah, I'm happy to be here, Mayego, and I don't have much to add for your program. Just I want to go back to what happened yesterday.
Oh, I think we're having issue with that connection. Uh, so Charity, you should. I don't know if maybe because you're mobile or something. So Oluwatoki is back on the road, so I'll give you a notice so that you will look for where to park when it's going to be your shot. All right, sir. Just listen out for us. Okay, don't get distracted. So, Charity, somehow it's you're freezing, or should I say you are frozen rather. So I'm going to put you on a short hold, okay? And let's see. Once you get back, I'm going to get you back in case if you can hear me, but we can't hear you. So now, Prince Jejeman. So who is supposed to go after Charity? Is I told you I'm so terrible in remembering. That should be you, sir. Kayode, right?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear
Hello.
you. Yes,
Good
I can.
evening, Mr. Mayegun and everybody.
How are you, sir?
I'm cool. I'm cool. From my own perspective, what I can say about the situation of our country, I discovered that the rich are getting richer or wealthier, while the poor are getting poor and continue to die in their various poverty.
Sir.
If we start to look from this refinery point of view, for example, this Wale Tinubu, somebody told me he's the one that owns Oando. I may be wrong anyway.
Oh,
Can you
yes.
hear me, please?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Otedola and Co. They have been milking Nigerian wealth for a long time. So now that Tinubu became the president, he has already known all these things. That is why maybe he make an immutable decision to remove it. You understand?
I do with you.
How are we going to be living in the midst of plenty and we are still suffering? That's the question. We have been suffering many things in that country. For the fact that I am based in Ipswich in England does not mean my family are still in Nigeria.
That's true.
I sent money to Nigeria time to time. It's so bad that if we go to any corporate organization in this place, once they discover you are from Nigeria, the way they look at you first, you're like, what's wrong? I went to a particular bank, permits me to mention the bank, Lois Bank in this place. I went with my wife that I want to have a joint account with my wife. So when they saw my record, they knew I'm from Nigeria. But when the bank manager starts asking me some detailed question, he was checking my account detail for over 2 years, and he saw the figure I'm earning. I started commanding respect, even on his seat. Said, this guy is a legit guy. He now started talking to me with respect. But initially, when he first got to know that I'm from Nigeria, I can see the ash in the way he was doing. But when he checked all my banking details and he saw my figures, he now started adding respect. He now was asking me some serious and important question again about where I'm working and how he will advise me to open another account for my son, because I went with my son also, you know. But one thing I'm just trying to say in conclusion so that other people can participate is that we have a lot of work to do globally. we have a lot of work to do. Because from me, there is no place like home. I always miss my home. Each time I travel to Germany, I travel to Israel or Portugal, I said, to be honest, I still miss my home. I wish they can make that place a good place for us to return to. If I'm very serious that African, Nigeria, they are the one in the ends of affair in this England, even in America, and we should be respected anywhere we go. Thank you, Mayegun.
Thank you.
And in conclusion, Mayegun, in conclusion, please, in conclusion, yes, I've been longing that I will tell you this. Mayegun, please, you are a man I really admire so much.
Thank you.
For no reason, don't find yourself around that Nigeria airport again. For now, okay, sir. Please, I will be very sad if I hear that you go to Nigeria and you are being arrested. I will be sad and I will be crying. For now, don't even near that place. The day I heard that you are going to a Nigerian embassy in London, I was praying for you. You know, something happened with one Turkish journalist, the one that disembarked in Istanbul. I said, hey, I pray such things should not happen to Mayegun. I was just panicking. So when I heard you went to the embassy and you came outside, I said, praise the Lord. Because I was speculating that what happened to that my Turkish journalist may happen. You understand? But I was so glad that you entered and you came outside peacefully. Kudos to you, and we continue to support you in any way we can. Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Same to you, sir. Thank you very much. That's so lovely. I mean, I kind of don't see them that evil, man. People actually like see them even worse than the way I see them in this manner. But I would never take that advice for granted. All right. So I'm gonna go to Babati. Babati, it's so good to see your face again. And then after that, we'll go to Prince Checheman, okay? But oh, sorry, Babati. Charity is back, right? I will let him have his shot and then I'll come back to you, sir. So sorry. I forgot that. Sir, Charity, somehow you just froze on me. And I was waiting for a few seconds, but now it wasn't happening. How are you, sir?
Yeah, fine. Thanks for having me back, Mayego. I have some network problems.